Welcome back to this pod. My name is Dr. Arzoo Chhabra. I have a PhD in organic chemistry, and I'm also an organic chemistry tutor and also a mindset coach for college students. By the way, before we move on further, if you are a young adult and you have no clarity on where to go in your life, you're looking for more direction, you have low motivation, however, you have big goals for your life, you're feeling emotionally burnt out, I'm launching a 9-week program for young adults that will actually help you become a high achiever without getting burnt out, feeling more confident, gaining all the internships that you want to, and actually living a life that you truly want to live. So let's get started. The topic for today's pod is the core principles that have actually helped me become a very successful student and live a successful student life so I could get a PhD. That helped me all the way until the end of my PhD. This is also something that I was actually mentioning in my WhatsApp group for students, which is open to all, the link for which is mentioned down below. And I was just mentioning that every aspect of our lives have principles, right? For example, work requires work principles. Relationships require relationship principles. Money require money principles. For example, let me give you a small example. If you spend more money than you actually make, would you become rich? That's pretty obvious, right? So your spendings should be less than what you are making. That is a money principle. So I'm going to list down the work principles that have actually helped me become a very successful student over the years. The first work principle is to show up every day. What that really means is sometimes you would feel like you are tired. Sometimes you would feel like you're exhausted. You just don't have it in you. You're sick and you wouldn't want to actually go to your classes, right? So how I applied this to my life was when I took physical fitness seriously, I was actually going to the gym 6 to 7 days a week. Sometimes I had other things on in my life, on my agenda, and however, I would still show up for like 20 minutes. I would still do 20 minutes, sometimes just cardio, to make sure that my brain understands the power of showing up every day, right? Sometimes I am in the research lab and I have all the other things going on. I don't have in me to actually carry out research. So that day I would just write the procedure of my research. I'm not really saying that you should actually study organic chemistry every day, but if you have it in your schedule to learn a subject every day, then you should show up to that subject without making any excuses every day, right? If you study organic chemistry every other day, that should be fine. Second principle is repetition for long-term memory. What that really means is you have to review the material the day you learn the material. So when you actually learn the material in your class, right, go home and review whatever you learned in your class. And because I was on top of everything, I would sometimes even look at my notes or like the agenda of class whenever possible, even before going to class, and then also do my homework right after class because I would just have fresh memory of whatever I was learning. So I would just like do the homework right away. That would actually save time to do other things. And also then when you're reviewing the material same day, then review the material 10 days later, which is not something that would be easier for you, but it really helps if you have your midterms coming up, right? It would actually help you for your midterm because then it starts to seep into your long-term memory and then repeat it again 30 days later. And that would actually really help you before you'll have your midterms and your finals. So if you are actually putting in the time and the effort to review the material 10 days and then 30 days, it really helps you retain the material for at least a long period of time. So now if you're learning organic chemistry and then you were taking MCAT 2 years later, you would actually be surprised how much of the material would be actually retaining for your MCAT. And I know a lot of students do not actually do that. So this is something that you could add to your life, to your study routine, and actually get the benefit from it. Principle 3. This is the principle that I actually learned from one of my spiritual retreats that I did in 2015, and that it's called the power of now, one of the life-changing principles, right? For example, if I'm studying to learn something right now, when you actually put in the effort, don't really think about all of the failures of the past or all of the every time that you didn't get the grade. I know it's going to affect you, and it has affected my students. It does affect their capability to focus on their tasks. So what I'm telling you is, like, really be detached, to not really be affected by what has happened in the past or what can happen in the future, and still give your 100%. Because the God honest truth is that you only have now, and you can only control what you have right now, which is your attention, your focus, and the present moment. That's it. So let's get to the work principle 4, which is the principle of understand the material and do not memorize it. I'm not a good test taker. I've heard so many students say that. Some of my friends even said that we are not good test takers. And I don't believe that. That's not even true, right? Because if you truly understand the material, you'd be able to answer every question on the test from that topic, from that material. So saying that I'm not a good test taker is giving yourself an out for not getting the grade you want, because you're not fully understanding the material, you're not able to fully apply it. There is a gap in the knowledge. There is a knowledge gap. That's the God honest truth. If you're able to fix that, you will become a good test taker. If you're just not able to attempt all the questions, however, whatever you do is correct, and you're not fast enough, that's a different problem, right? For that one, you would have to learn how to think quickly on your feet and eliminate your answers. But I don't think I've met anybody who does like 20 questions out of 40 and all of them are correct, right? If that's you, then you don't have knowledge gap. Then you really need to start thinking faster on your feet to actually get to the 40 problems. But most of the students are like, they do 20 problems, but they do half of them incorrect, and then they say that we're not good test takers. And here is the bonus principle. Just don't accept mediocrity. Just don't accept the fact that you're not a good student, because you are. And if you're not, it's just a skill gap. It's just something you can prepare yourself for. It's something that is achievable. If you accept mediocrity, if you say it's not for me, I'm not smart enough, then you're again lying to yourself. If you actually got anything from this video, comment what you actually got. I'm always looking forward to your comments. And if you have any question for me, I will respond to your queries and maybe create a new video out of that. So we'll see you guys next time. Bye now.